All right. Welcome to the coffee break. This is episode number 89. Thank you very much for joining. I was just briefly talking to Jonathan here, just for recording, that we do have an online accelerator coming up next week. And if you don't know about that one, let me share here. So there is one next week that is online. So that's already closed, right? Because it's not just like next week, but we do have more online on-site coming, and I believe that most of those on-site will also have local online version as well. So if you want to attend one of those on-site, you can also register to go online during that time. We always host Slack instance for that week. And you can reach anyone on the team to get help. So if you are on a different time zone, it's still possible. Yeah. Well, by the way, the next week is actually online and in Boston. So did I get this right? Yes. So and then there is Bangalore, Munich, and London. So the agenda is very busy for this year. So hoping to see you in one of those events. So with that, let me move to you. If you have any questions or topics, projects that you are working on, like to bring up, just open your microphone. Go ahead. Anything interesting going on? But we have just four of us today. Thank you for joining anyway. So if you haven't heard of, we do have DevCon coming as well. So I believe here there are the two events that we are hosting. Yeah, Munich and Boston. So this end of May and beginning of May. And again, this is a very good chance to meet all of us that we've been working with, and there's lots of other people as well to exchange ideas. I think registration will open soon, but it will be there soon. And there is, of course, there is always the early bird and options for you. So Munich will be bigger and Boston will be a bit smaller in size. So we don't have that much space in Boston, but 100 people. And if you wanna join, that's just. And I believe, here we have another some of those additional events in Korea, Japan, and China. So it'll be interesting, especially because I believe that So so in May, which is very close to Munich, but Tokyo coming later and Beijing. If you can have one of those local versions as well. And I believe all of those, most of the classes, actually Munich, all the classes are in English, but in I believe so as well. Tokyo, we have some local people in Japanese, some classes in Japanese, and in China, but many of those classes will be in English. So it's also a good idea. All right. Again, I'm talking too much. Let's give some time for you. Oh, hi, Chuck. How are you? You are muted. Anyway, what else is going on?
Doing well. How are you?
Yeah, do you know as well? Starting to get busy with all of those events coming for the year. Anything interesting going on? What projects, questions?
So I found out a little more about the issue I was having with the exporting out of Revit. That's not necessarily an API issue. If we export using Revit's tools, we get the same effect using the Bluebeam sign and seal thing. I found I found another post to Autodesk on their help sites and all that back in October. Somebody had brought that up, and so we had tested it here, and we're getting the same results where it just prints out the top 25% of the file. So problem is that I don't know if it's who do you go to, right? So Is it on the Autodesk side or is it on the Bluebeam side? So right now I'm spending time looking at on the Bluebeam side to see whether or not, if anybody's mentioned it there, and whether or not we can get any help.
So just to situate others, right? So there was this question that Chuck sent us last week, right?
Mhm.
That when you generate a PDF file from Revit and then uses Bluebeam to sign them, we are losing some of the content on the pages, right? And not sure why. So we're trying to figure that one out. Yeah, but if it's happening out after you go to Bluebeam, so something is not good with those PDFs. Yeah, probably have to keep researching. We haven't found anything on our side, so I did include our Revit experts, so in case they have any suggestion, but no, nothing
Yeah.
so far. Those are one of those tricky things. It's very
Right.
tricky.
Yeah.
Track down, right?
Yeah.
Keep looking for it.
Okay.
All right, what else?
So I've been working with your one of your examples that you produced. Um, I'm not sure when, but basically it's the viewer, right? The viewer that you wrote. I had it working last week sometime, and then I thought, well, let me go play with the IIS side of things. And so, well, all right. So I'm going to go over there, and I started tinkering with that. Well, then I came in on Monday, and now it tells me I was gonna run it again and see what the exact error is, but for some reason it doesn't want to display the models. Um, it gives me a 404 error,
Okay,
and
so
so
do you see anything that gives you anything other than 404? Because then we have to look at it. So
yeah.
I recall, I vaguely recall there was something going on the other day. So it yeah. So let me share here. There is this. Well, I would say it's likely that some. So you said it was working, then it's not working. So said it's probably maybe some files expired or were deleted. There is this generic, more broad problem with 404, right? When you don't specify or miss-specifying the environment or API stream that you want to use. So that may be the cause as well. But as you said, it was working before, so I don't think that's the thing because yeah. So it's most likely something else. Maybe what you can do is to uh, get the console output showing the exact error message and when and where you're getting the 404. That could help. So that's usually where to debug. And it's possible that the mod is just not there anymore. Maybe it was deleted because some policy, right? We delete files after some time as well.
Well, it shows up in the list though. In the list that you have over on the left side of the screen, the model shows up, and then when you pick on the model,
Oh, if I have
I
that,
guess there's different versionings of it. So you select on one of those versions, and that's when I get the error.
okay.
It's an
So
on-document
if you have
load
it,
failure.
if you have it, can you show us then? Is that something that you can show?
Yeah, yeah, actually I do. So
So this is okay. Yeah, while you have it, while you're trying to get it, this 404 here is more like broad, right? Because maybe the API it's not working there. So sorry, the API endpoint have to specify the region you want.
okay. I can't share my screen. You got it locked down.
Yeah, I'm gonna try now.
Can you see that?
It's coming. Yeah,
Yeah, it's right there. It's at load on failure.
yeah, but there is one above that, right? So
Yeah,
go to network
go
tab.
to the net. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you may wanna refresh the page so you can see we can try again. So refresh the page, yes. So where is it? Uh, Here, click on this fetch HR.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this browser link is something else, right? So this is not our page. This is, yeah. So now you have to try to open one of the models, right? Okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay. So have you opened this model in A360 before?
No, I have not, but
Yeah. So
I have
models,
I
yeah.
have ACC.
No, but this here is not ACC. This is
No,
A360 or what's the name again? Something else, I
um,
forgot now. But
this
what
is
what
just your
happens is
private.
that, yeah, all of those models here, they are when you create a new account, we add those files as a reference for you, but they're not actually
Right.
there yet, or not translated. You have to open them at least once in the product so you can use the API. And this only happens because you are using a free tier of I believe it's A360, or out of the stocks. I keep confusing the names, but it's just because those files are just there in case you want to try them as a trial, right? So if you upload your own file, that wouldn't happen. But for those files that are there for you, you have to open them at least once in the product. So go to I believe it's A360 or out of the stocks or docs, I believe, and then you have to view them at least once.
Well, okay. So the thing about that is I suspended the ACC application because it's exposing all of our client names. Okay, and I can't do that online. But I get the same thing there.
That shouldn't happen there. So maybe if you can show us that one. But
Um, yeah,
to your point of having A36 BIM 360 data, right, on your sample, what I would
right,
actually recommend is that you have a development account on ACC, one for your development that you can try out, and it's very dummy data, no production,
right.
right? And then you have once that is ready, then you use your production data. Don't use production data to try out the API.
Oh, sure, I do, and I have that. I just went out there and I suspended it because I realized that I'm exposing our clients, which I'm not allowed to do uh, in a public format like this, and so
Yeah.
I suspended that just so I can show you the very same thing that's happening using these models in BIM 360.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sure. I mean,
So
maybe we can just book some time later then to check on
yeah,
that.
yeah,
By the way, there
yeah.
is a problem here. I just see your secret. You have to regenerate them. So
Oh, yeah, thank you.
yeah, but this is recorded, so I'm not sure if I can remove that. So you have to go
uh,
regenerate that.
I'll have to go and change those. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna stop
Yeah.
sharing then.
For that specific one, it's you have to open them at least once. But for ACC, that shouldn't happen. And if it's happening, it's a different problem. So it's not the same problem. It's a different problem.
Okay. All right. Stop.
Okay. Can you go back there for a moment? Um, so is that the tutorial code?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll give it a try as well to see if anything is missing there. Cool.
Okay. So I don't need to go back to it. Okay.
No, you don't. Yeah.
Oh.
No need. So it's all good.
Okay.
All right.
Stop
So
sharing
what
right
else? Any
now.
other questions?
Hey, Augusto, how are you doing?
Oh, hi, Luis.
I'm decided to add a passive authentication inside my plugin, inside Revit. And I wonder if there's some way to know how many users connect in my application. similar like when you download a plugin in the App Store, something
Okay.
like that.
So
By
we don't
default,
have
actually.
that. Yeah, we don't have that statistic for you, right? You will have to keep track of that.
Okay.
So every time someone sign in, on the token and on the sign-in process, you have the Oxygen ID, the Autodesk ID for that person, right?
Yeah. Yes. I already doing that, but if it was by default, actually.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, we don't have that. Yeah, that's something that is being requested for some time, and sorry, we don't have it yet. But the idea would be keep track of those IDs, right? And that would be, yeah, we don't have that statistic for you, unfortunately.
Okay. There are some plans to add that.
It was requested before, so I think it's logged as a wish. But well, we are doing some work on the developer portal to have more analytics for you, right? So the first pass on that review is to improve, like, how many tokens you are using, how much you're paying, so have better usage control, so you know how much you're paying better, right? You have more details. So that's the first round that we're doing, and also having programmatic ways for you to do that instead of just going through the interface.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that we're doing. Maybe later we can also discuss that. But by the way, we do have roadmap. Where is it? APS roadmap.
Yeah, I was looking that, but
Yeah.
I found something with authentication and .NET.
Yeah. So this is just to give you what is under consideration. Sorry, here, right? So we have some projects that are under consideration. You can see what we're planning to do next, or at least considering to do next. But no, that specific is not here yet, because one of the things about agile is that you are always looking 6 months in advance. You're not looking 3 years in advance, right? So you're always looking a few months in the future, what you're planning to do next. So those are the things that we are working on right now.
Okay. There are some way to, like, for the user actually to revoke all the tokens.
All the access tokens, I believe no. Yeah, I believe no.
This would be good, actually.
Yeah. So that's another thing that we hear as well, right? So the ability for the user, so whenever the user sign in on your application, you can use the refresh token to keep refreshing, right? So there is no way for the user to know which applications he has authorized and revoke them, right? So that's something that was requested a while, but this is not here and yet, right? So yeah, it may be later, but not yet.
Yeah.
Those are the things that we're working right now.
Sorry?
Those are the things that are in progress and under consideration, so you can always review here. But that's all we have for now.
Great.
And I wasn't sharing, by the way. Yeah, I was supposed to share this. So community APS roadmap. Yeah, I think I clicked on the button, but I did not. Anyway, under consideration, that's what we are planning to do, what we're planning to do next. In progress, what we're doing right now, and things that we already did. So you can always review here. So under community, APS roadmap. So this is the roadmap mostly for the developer portal and developer experience in general. So App Store, developer portal. So those are the things that are here, right? This is not related to services and APIs that we have. So there are different roadmaps for different products and features. So this is really for the developer experience. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I could share my what I'm doing right now with this authentication and so on.
Yeah, if you
It'll be fun.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, I have this plugin. I cannot move it. Okay, if I click in here, gonna show I'm connected with my account. I can click in here, gonna log out. If I click again, I'm gonna show some license agreement, so on. And if I click in next, gonna open my window. I already signed in with my account, so I'm just gonna allow that. And now I'm in signing. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. So that's you have a server in the middle to do the authentication. How do you do that?
And a local authentication. I'm using the I forgot the name. That
Pixie.
one single page, yeah. One
Okay,
single
cool.
page. So I don't need to worry about my server or so on.
Yeah.
And then he's signing. That's what I'm doing.
Excellent.
And save the token in my computer and so on.
Yeah. Why it keeps blinking there, red and green, right?
Probably because my it's checking if Revit is busy or not.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
show some delay or something. Yeah.
Interesting. Very good.
That's one reason I want to know how many users are using this.
Yeah.
So I don't need to track myself. So
yeah,
could be easier.
Yeah, you probably need some server, or right after you authenticate, you send a ping back to your server.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But it would be easier if Autodesk already does that for me. So
yeah,
I don't need to have a server in the middle.
Yeah, server just to keep the track, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have it. So I would say the cheapest way to do it would be something like a Lambda and a Dynamo in the serverless database as well, right? So if you're using AWS, would be Lambda and Dynamo. That would be extremely cheap, right? Because it's just a quick ping that would then store the user ID on the database, and that's it, right? And because the user ID is unique, you can likely use the user ID as the index, the document ID on that database, and then inside the document you just keep a list of how many times you did the ping or how many times you logged in, right? So you know how often they are using. So that should give you a log of user IDs and their times. That should be extremely cheap, or even mostly free, right? Because Lambda will just execute when you do it, when you call it, and it will be very, very fast, right? And also Dynamo, it's also very cheap when you are not doing a lot of push and pull data. Make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah, I already using the user ID in my other plugins, but there's some way to the user ID to change
the
for
ID?
some reason.
No. So when I say ID, I'm talking about that number that comes with the user, not the actual
number,
username.
Yeah, the user ID. Yeah, because probably the user changed or Autodesk forced to create a new account, I guess.
Oh, but then it's a new account, right? So it's a different.
Yeah.
It's a different account all over.
What's gonna happen if I create a new account and maybe change the email? What's gonna happen? The user ID gonna be the same.
Then if you change the email, then it's a different account.
I cannot change my email after create account.
It's a good question. I don't know, but the user ID cannot be changed.
You can. You can change the email after in Autodesk account, basic Autodesk account. You can change the email for a user.
Okay. But the user ID should be the same, I guess.
Well, if you're just changing the email, yes, because then you are not losing, right? Yeah, you may be right.
Yeah, because you see it on projects in the hub. If people if you change a user email, but there's still everything remains, all their association and permissions on projects and so on. So I'm guessing it holds the ID.
So I'm looking at that page here, right? So yeah, you can change the username. You can probably change the email somewhere. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, username and email. You can edit those. But I would suspect that the ID will not change because everything is using that ID on the backend. So looking at the other endpoint, there is user ID, the backend user ID for that person. Then there is username, email ID, right? Which are different things. So the ID is to be stable.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is what I see when I go to manage or profile at Autodesk to see my data. Interesting. All right, so as I have you here, just one more thing before I forget. This weekend, we're doing a maintenance on the developer portal, and over the weekend, you'll not be able to access your credentials and developer portal information. And it's a bit long, should take 48 hours. If you go to the health dashboard, you should see the status on what's coming. So yeah, so if you need any information from the health dashboard this weekend, get it before the weekend. So you see here, there's the schedule maintenance there. Okay, so remember to.
I have a
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have a quick question or two. There's no webhooks for events of opening a project, right?
No, opening the
On
project, like
ACC,
opening a
on
file.
ACC, no, opening a new ACC or BIM 360 project. There's no webhooks for basically for the account admin.
No, not.
I'm thinking.
We don't have that yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, is this something you think is going to happen? Is it worth making a request?
Well, make the request. That's always helpful, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we know
Okay.
that there is one more person asking for it. Now,
Okay.
this is likely part of the admin API on ACC. So
Yeah.
that API, it's mostly, there are a few endpoints and there's lots more to do, right? Allow you to create projects, assign users, all of those things. And it's still lots of
Okay.
work to do. So, but I know that the team is working on the endpoints first, and they will be working on webhooks as well, right?
I
Eventually.
see. I see. Okay. Makes sense. And another question: if I wanted to extend ACC BIM 360 in any way, for example, there's some data that I've accumulated or diagnosed in some way. There's no way for me to show it on the viewer, right? I mean, if there's some data in the model which I want to highlight, I cannot add an extension to the viewer on my hub. Am I correct?
You can show additional properties if you have your own application and you are overriding the viewer, but not in ACC. You cannot change ACC viewer inside ACC.
Okay, I get.
You can change it on your
Okay.
app.
Okay, so I need to basically host it, bring the model from ACC to a viewer, which I'm overriding and extending.
Yes.
On my server, basically.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay. So I understood. And the last thing, model derivatives in terms of extracting data from models. It's the same for work shared files or none work shared.
It's the
None.
same. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the same. The
it's the
translation
same.
is the same. Yeah, it's the same translation.
Yeah. The translation happened, and I want to read information after it happened. Is that something, because I know for example, the AEC model API, the one that is in beta, is only working from 2024 and upwards, right?
Yes,
And I
correct.
want to look at yeah. So if I want to look at a model and say how much, I don't know, how many ducts, for example, of a certain type I have in a model, then I would use the model derivative for that, right?
Yes, so both will get roughly the same data, model derivative,
Yep.
AC data model, data exchange, all of those will be roughly the same data. The thing about AC data model is that it's using GraphQL, so it's a bit easier to query the precise information you want. So you can just get
Yes,
that
it's
specific subset.
nicer. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can also ask, I only want that
Yeah.
data, not the whole object.
Yes.
But data exchange will give me model data? No, just everything from around it, no?
Yeah, so on the model, yes, all the
Yeah.
elements, not again, it's roughly the same data, the same information. The format is changing on the API perspective, right? There is also
Yeah.
some
No,
work on the on our backend, but on the API perspective, it's just a different way. Or it's first a different way to query the data.
okay. But are there any examples of extracting, like accumulating data from the model within using model derivatives in your samples? Is there some sample I should look for specifically?
For extracting data, how so? What kind?
I mean, for example, if I want to see how many floors are of type, or the area of floors from a specific type
Yeah,
in a model, is there a way? I mean,
actually,
I'm assuming I.
yes.
Yeah.
So we do have, so if you go to getting started, there is a tutorial there,
Yeah.
dashboard, data grid, right? That if I scroll down, it should have the grid, right? So it helps you build something like this, a grid with the information. So you should be able to extract and filter out what pieces of the data, right? And
Okay.
show that in a grid format. You see that it's
Okay.
grouping them by name, volume, level.
Yeah.
It's just one example, right? So you can definitely.
But okay, but the extraction is happening via model derivative, or
Yes, model derivative.
okay,
Model derivative.
okay,
Yes.
okay. So I need to, because I'm not that interested in this point that the viewer and viewing that, just accumulating and so on. So I need to look at, and this is the step by step
Yeah.
dashboard. Okay,
Yes.
I
Getting
see.
started.
Yeah,
Dashboard data grid.
yeah. Okay, I know that one. I didn't pay enough attention on this one. Thank
But
you.
if you don't want the viewer and you want to just extract the data, right? And if it's
Yep.
possible, say try the AC data model, that will be way faster to do it because you can filter out exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, no, I've done the day of the boot camp that was with the, and it was fantastic. It was like, okay, this is where your APS is heading, and from my perspective, this is what I need. So obviously yes, but there's a lot of issues of getting projects on the latest Revit version. So it takes time, and I want to be able to extract the data,
So in that case, will be
regardless of regardless of whether it's a 2024 or not.
yeah, makes sense.
Cool, thanks.
Cool. All right, so we are a bit over. Thank you very much for staying. So as usual, the next coffee break will be in the same time in 2 weeks, Wednesday, March 6th. I'll be sharing the recording later, and see you soon. Thank you very much for joining today, and see you in 2 weeks. You guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.